good night, and welcome to the conversation. I'm your co-host Alistair Sampson, and we have with us here Michael Wilson, aka Mike the Trainer, aka Mr. Mons himself, aka Fit, Mr. Fit X Studio. How you going tonight, man?
Everything good, man. Can't complain at all. How you doing?
All right, so far so good. For persons who now connecting on, our other co-host Chris Cross, aka Christopher Crossley, Mr. Crossley, sir. He is unavailable tonight. You know, we just bid him well in terms of when his endeavors what we be doing tonight. But you have the two of us here, and we are on for the conversation. That is for sure. Normally around this time we just have our COVID check, and we still going to keep it. So, how has your week been going so far, Mike?
Honestly, can't complain. honestly, can't complain. Life is good. I've been practicing what we've been teaching, so it's been even better. It's definitely been. I really can't complain.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, actually, I've been trying to take some different steps within here, and you know, trying to make a build with in terms of everything that I'm doing for work and trying to balance school, a number of these things like that.
Right.
And you know, even with the business as well too, is a big balancing act that going on here. But trying to get back on track with a number of different things. One of my items is to try to get a little more physical training with me. So I say I can't go to the gym, so I decided to bring the gym to me. So I don't know if you're seeing right there, I have my exercise mat, my little resistance band, and my kettlebell.
Yeah, man.
So like what does do in between, even when I'm at work, instead of just standing up and stretching, I'll go and do a little 5-minute, 10-minute resistance, do some push-ups, something like that to get the blood flow. Because I mean, to sit down whole day and your legs drop asleep, that is trouble there, man. And also something one of our loyal followers on the mantle told us, and it is actually true. This is officially our first year of actually doing mantle. I mean, you know, I mean, we have been doing it for a while. I mean, yeah, you're right. We started on the 30th of June 2020, and look at that. Yeah. So good shout out to that, picking up on that one for sure. And look at that, a whole year has passed. We have been able to reach a lot of people. So again, for those who are connecting, thank you all so much for being with us. You know, for persons who were with us from day one straight through, thank you so much for connecting on the Tuesdays. You know, we started off 6:30 at the time, and we went to 8 o'clock. And for those who have been jumping on, I know we have been on for a year. You know, we really thank you for that, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. You know?
Very true.
So really
very,
good for that,
true.
man. So that's good. That's good, man. Tonight, healthy tips in this pandemic. Listen,
Yes,
this is so needed right now. I mean, you're looking at it as we have done a year, yes, of the conversation, but for persons, I mean, this whole thing about work from home and, you know, all these things happening here with COVID-19 in Trinidad and Tobago, we're talking about 15, going on 16 months. We have been like this.
That's a very long time. That's a very long time. I think not only that people don't really appreciate how much we've gone through in that time and how much they've survived in that time. You know, they take for granted sometimes how much they've literally survived over those last months.
Yeah, it's true, because I think during this particular time, I've realized that we have really taken a shift culturally as a country, mentally. I mean, the way how we do things now, it has changed. I mean, for a lot of people who have been on quarantine and stuff like that, I don't know, I mean, for a good bit of people from what I've been hearing, things like the common cold, they're not getting that anymore. People washing their hands like crazy now, so I'm wondering what kind of madness was going on before COVID, you know, and that includes myself. Yeah. So, I mean, all these changes that are going on right now, and a lot of it, we have to look at it from the physical element of it as well, because the big challenge that we have right now is gyms were closed off for a while and then they opened back with, you know, limited capacity and all these things like that. Persons, you know, going around the savannah doing the runs and stuff, even that and all started to limit. And people started to make a lot of lifestyle changes happening here. And some of it was for the better, some of it actually, they got worse. Because, you know, either the home or maybe either the working from home, or for some people, unfortunately, they were laid off because their business was in the service area. I mean, in your interactions with persons, especially as a fitness trainer, what has been the feedback or the views with persons in terms of who you've been interacting with, and how this has changed physically for them?
I think there are people who have two clear views on this issue, right? Those who are unbothered and are living life in some way as if COVID isn't that big of a deal and it hasn't affected them in that big of a way and it's going to end tomorrow and God is a trinity, right? We have those. We have those. We can't ignore the fact we have those, and those people are also the ones that are also not making significant changes to their lifestyle during COVID. Then they're the ones who are, I just said there are three types. Then they're the ones who are overly panicked, right? The ones who take every piece of news as doomsday, right? And okay, this is the end, right? Delta strain is the end, and we can't survive this one. And you know, they over paranoid and they panic, and you know, and then they're the ones who trying to find some semblance of normalcy to function during the day and function in the life, and still, you know, but it has been a definite strain on everybody, on every type of business, every type of lifestyle, every person. And people may say that, you know, the ones who have money or who in the 1%, they are okay, but even them are being affected in some way. So this virus has literally impacted everybody across the board.
Listen, that's why they call it a global pandemic, and you don't just look at it from just the physical side with respect to the physical health of people. You have to look at the economical health of a country as well too, that has been affected by a physical disease. I mean, that speaks volumes in terms of what's happening in Trinidad and Tobago and the world in large. One of the things it would seem, and you could talk on it if that's the case. Due to the pandemic itself, persons had to take up, or persons who are home now with that, you know, you can't go out and buy KFC, you can't go buy the Pie Man again, doubles, lockdown, all of these things like that. Some people had to start cooking, or what some people do to the next extreme here, what if you can't cook, buy snacks on my side to fill your belly. So that has become like a new trend that's happening right now. I don't know if you're getting that as well too, or you're hearing that's happening.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like we normally, when we go to the grocery, for example, right? The groceries are way more packed now on a general day-to-day basis than before the pandemic. And that's because people are consuming way more than they were consuming before from the groceries, because they have to prepare their meals. There's not as much street vendors, or there isn't those options really. So the groceries are a lot more packed than they used to be. The sad fact is, though, when we go about our way in the grocery, and we kind of notice what people are picking up is not. I guess some people try to simulate the fast foods, right?
Shake and bake.
So you see a lot of you see a lot of frozen food, you see a lot of quick stuff, and I understand why, because life is a lot more challenging now in a lot of different ways. But I still think that people are trying to continue bad habits in a lot of ways, and they're making it a little bit worse, right? Like I saw a guy pick up. I just be amazed sometimes when I look at some people's cart. You ever walk into the grocery and you look at somebody else's basket and wonder why they're buying that? Like, I watched a guy and he had like 10 1-liter Cokes. And I was like, why you need 10? Number one, how big is your family? Number two, how much Coke do you consume on a daily basis?
True.
Right now, this was a Saturday or weekend when we went to the grocery. Next week when we went back, I saw the same guy again making groceries. And there was more coke. So that means in a week, consumed all that. And I was like, whoa. I was literally shocked because that's a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things in that, right? But he just supplementing a habit, you know, and he just doing it to the fullest. So because he's home, he's laid back, he's probably just comforting himself with these type of foods, you know.
But what do you think is it, you know, sometimes we just had to look at or at least trying to peel away the layers in terms of what is causing people, well, as you rightfully say, what could be causing people to either go from good to bad in the eating or bad to worse. Could be in terms of maybe the existing lifestyle that they had in terms of eating now has been intensified because of the pandemic. Is it panic eating? You know, what are the areas that you believe that could be causing that negative shift with respect to eating habits currently, really?
Well, there are a couple of things, huh? Number one, let's look at it from firstly the nutrition perspective and a scientific perspective a bit, right? Normally, a lot of times we crave things due to a deficiency in our body. So you may crave something sweet if you're missing a particular vitamin or nutrient. You may crave something salty. If you're getting cramps a lot, if you're dehydrated, different things like that, your body craves particular nutrients, but it triggers in our mind a response based on a food we may have had. So, for example, if we're stressed out, whatever gives us that feel-good hormone, food-wise, our body will crave. So if we're stressed out and we know that sweets are our thing, our go-to, you will have a craving for sweets. But what your body is really craving is a release of good endorphins, a release of good, healthy hormones to make it feel good, to make it feel, you know, feel relaxed, right? Yeah. Sometimes your body is lacking water and you're having chips, you're having salty snacks, thinking that your body is craving something salty. But your body really craving a full glass of water, a lot of water. You know?
Yeah, correct.
So in this pandemic time, we have high stress levels, right? We have long periods of time sitting, right? We have a long period of time that most people don't really consume as much fluids and water as they're supposed to. So they then compensate for these things by having certain foods. And your body will initially be compensating until it eventually becomes a habit.
True.
And now what was just a compensating movement or action is now you go to the grocery and mindlessly, you just pick up these particular snacks. Because you know at some point in time you're going to crave them. So you begin filling our carts with the wrong things quicker than with the right things. And it's a sad fact, but it's literally just our body's response to the situation we're in. And I think the next factor is literally just, I don't mean to sound bad, but as Trinis, a lot of times, not as Trinis, but as people, as human beings, we follow trends. So, right before, I don't know if you all remember this, right before the last lockdown, when they said they're going to lockdown, there was a big rush to all the Royal Castles and KFCs and everything.
Yes!
Buy stuff and freeze. And I was like, all right, but you can make fried chicken home. You can make that home for yourself, but why are we rushing to get it? And it's simply because it's the mentality, is the, I can't get this, so I'll take as much as I can get now. And then people, like, there are people right now literally selling frozen KFC on Facebook. I thought it was a joke, and then I realized, you know, it's wait. People are...
Frozen KFC?
So people literally bought KFC and froze the chicken, and they are selling that. I thought it was a lie, until a friend of mine sent me a message where he legit got his order.
So, just like in concerts where you have people selling tickets outside the concert that is not the official booth, people scalping KFC now. KFC scalpers, okay. Hashtag that.
I don't know, people are making doubles and different things, but
yeah, okay.
It's just some semblance of normalcy as well. They want to feel as though it's a regular Friday, it's a regular weekend. We can have these things, and you know, still looking for some semblance of normalcy.
Yeah, I'm glad I brought up the area in terms of like eating habits, even with the drinking of water, because I also consider as well persons who are still working and actually going out to work and have to be wearing on the mask sometimes next to persons. So that anxiety, so you're wearing on the mask, so physically your body starts to dry out a lot with the mask on if you're wearing it a lot during the day. You have the anxiety, you know, in terms of somebody next to you. And Lord help you if you're in a vehicle and the cough. You will jump out the window. Some people will go crazy. You know? It's like that. So people coming home and some people, as you rightly say, they're looking for comfort food or comfort snacks or all these kind of things because it's hard out there in terms of facing. You have to watch who you're next to, if they cough, if they're looking, if the person looking suspect, let me run from them, all this kind of thing like that. So you're right, a lot of those factors are playing on people's physical health. And I mean, we have spoken about it in terms of our mental health during the pandemic. And again, for persons who on YouTube, you could go ahead and check this link right on top of here. You'll see, you'll go back to one of our past episodes that we talking about mental health during the pandemic. But you realize that the mental health actually starts attacking the physical health as well, and
definitely.
And it could be now the way I theorize, and this is just me, and I mean we could elaborate on it a little more. Do you believe that the mental issues of persons' eating habit started because of the pandemic, or it was before the pandemic and it just intensified as the pandemic started taking place? Or you think it's a mixed bag with respect to how that is happening?
I think it's a mixed bag, I honestly do, because there were people who I personally know that would have been doing pretty well before the pandemic. And okay, let me give you an example now. I have a particular client. She was doing amazing. She was on a particular diet system, doing some intermittent fasting and stuff. And her structure was based also upon her work life, meaning the time she'd normally get up, get the kids ready, organize that, then she'll go into work mode, get to work, and by a certain period of time her eating window starts and that kind of thing. With the pandemic, however, that whole process is off track. So even if she wanted to sit in the same pattern, she couldn't. Because now the kids are home, she's home, she has to then take care of them, do XYZ, get things done, and by the time she's ready to eat, it's way past eating window time to start.
True.
So it would have affected her structure. A lot of people would have been affected by their natural eating structure and eating pattern because of COVID, right? And that would have then spiraled some people who were doing well into doing poorly. And then you have those who were already eating bad, and this just further enabled the poor habit. So they just made it worse now.
Yeah.
And then there are those who I believe there should have been a bit of a wake-up call. So they would have started to do certain things to try and fix the issues that were there before. And you know, if I like tonight, I know we're talking about health tips during the pandemic period, right? And maintaining the health during the pandemic. I know we spoke a lot about stress so far. And if I have to say like a first proper tip or proper point when it comes to something that affects your health during the pandemic the most, it will be a stress level. Right? And knowing your personal stress signs as well is really, really important. Right? A lot of people face stress in different ways. And like I said, it affects their mental health. So sometimes your mind loses focus. Sometimes you catch yourself sit down and you're upset for no reason. You're edgy, you're anxious.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes you find yourself just splurging on food. And it's not a matter of being hungry. It's not a matter of it being the weekend or just feeling for something. It's just a matter of you trying to cope in some ways as well.
Yeah, coping.
So when some people think about it, they think about just eating habits, but they need to look firstly as well as what is the root cause of some of these behaviors. And stress, I want to make it clear that a lot of people may think to themselves, I'm fine, I'm not stressed out, I'm okay. But like I said, know your personal stress signs. If you could take a note about that, take this note. Understand and know your personal stress signs. People around you may be saying, but why are you getting on like that? Why are you so edgy? Why are you answering me like that? why are you moving so? You're calling me and talking to me these different things. And we just saying ourselves, no, but I good. But we're not realizing that we secluding ourselves.
Yeah.
We pull ourselves away.
Mm-hmm.
We move in a particular way that is our stress pattern. You know, everybody, I know my stress patterns. How I eat, when it comes to how I sleep, when it comes to, you know, even exercising and stuff like that, it affects that whole structure and pattern and system. And people need to realize that if you can identify your own stress patterns, you would know very much how to then pull yourself out of that spiral.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. And as you rightfully said there, I think right now people are kind of going down a particular... I think the rightest description for it really is a spiral, because if anybody know how a spiral really is in terms of that coil, it goes in a coil and it goes lower and lower. Anything that travels on a spiral in that direction goes faster and deeper and longer with respect to that. So going down that particular road is not the answer. That's a hard pit to climb out of. So I'm glad for that first step with respect to knowing your stress factor. I mean, that's a big one, definitely, in terms of how we are working here. And you're right. How do we manage our stress? I think another item, and it was just dawning into me here. And we spoke about this some weeks ago. Your habits. What your habits, I think, might be another area of what you're looking at, or maybe taking account of the habits that you have right now in terms of what you do every day, and really making note of what you do every day. And it kind of builds on what you talk about in terms of your stress triggers. What are your triggers that cause you to instinctively go and do this negative thing and making a pattern of that? What are your thoughts on habits right now as well?
I think when it comes to habits, it's like it's amazing that you brought that up too, because you know what's funny with our conversation is that we don't, and I don't know if people realize this, but we don't really ever discuss with each other beforehand what we're going to talk about.
True.
We literally have a conversation.
That's right.
So you're getting our raw ideas or raw thoughts, and we go back and forth on these things, and we speak about habits, and we just speak about stress. And the best way to deal with that stress is to institute and to implement good habits.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Habits that will then release stress. Stress is not something that can be relieved by eating. I'm being very honest with you guys. It's not the best way to deal with stress.
Okay.
Right? You need to put in place habits and a structure that is going to then counteract your stress. Right? If I have to give a couple different things that you guys can do as a structured habit setup to counteract stress. Number one, have a gratitude journal. Right? During this pandemic time, it's really, really important to have a gratitude journal, right? I have mine, right?
Yeah, those
it's really, really important.
Keep that for sure.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why it's important. My wife and I were speaking about this just yesterday evening. We were stressing out about things in our business and things we were looking to do, and just a lot of things happening, and we were just our mind is all over. And so I mean, we sat and said, we're stressed out about what move to make next, and there are people who are stressed out by the fact that they can't afford to go and get medical attention.
True.
There are people stressed out by the fact that they're on a medical bed right now, and they don't know if the next breath is their last breath. There are people who lost their job and don't know if they're going to be able to pay rent next month, if they're going to be able to buy groceries, if the card will decline or not when they make the next purchase. So being grateful is a very big and important step to keeping your mind centered, not on the negative things, but on what is still happening in your life. Still in good health, still alive.
Yeah.
If you had COVID and it come, you were able to fight it off. You survived. These things are things to be grateful for. You understand? You're still employed. I mean, people don't understand how big of a deal that is.
It is.
Whether or not your job is the best, you're still employed. Whether or not you got a salary cut, you're still employed. Job loss is a big thing happening right now in COVID, and just simply rising in the morning, I'm thankful for waking up. I'm thankful for having my family still with me. I'm thankful for the ability to go to work, the ability to pay my bills. Just simple stuff. It keeps our actual reality in check of what is actually happening in life, and puts into perspective what we are subconsciously afraid of, and don't realize that those things are not directly impacting us right now, and we can hold on to the good things and keep our head in the correct space. You know, I know you journal as well, Alistair, so I'm sure you can attest to that as well.
Yeah, honestly, what I do in terms of journaling, especially what I think that I do, especially, you know, it has some days where you may not feel like writing. What I do, I actually go back and start reading some of the things what I have that I wrote before, and I not only write in terms of things I am grateful for, I actually write how I feel on that particular day at that particular moment. And sometimes it's good to literally hear from yourself how you're feeling. So it's kind of like you speaking back to you, in a matter of speaking, when you're going back to your journal and everything, and you know, you will say, well, wait, I was feeling really terrible that day, and look, the next day was okay. So if I'm feeling bad now, the next day is going to be okay, no matter how I'm feeling today, you know. What did I do there to get me from here to here? I need to go back. I am reminding myself in writing what I can do to pick back up. And I mean, honestly, it's not all, you know, guru and scented candles and motivation and you know, all these things like that. But sometimes you just need to write how you feel, and you know, go back to, and yeah, you're right, that is a healthy tip as well. You know, putting down how you feel, journaling exactly what's happening there, especially during this time right now, and you know, use that as as leverage to really get you back on if in a better space mentally and physically in that case as well. Yeah.
I know. Also, just one more thing with that, with journaling, is that sometimes as parents, husbands, wives, different things like that, we have responsibilities, and we have to sometimes make things appear that everything is good. You know, I remember times when my dad, when things would have been tough, and my dad would be like, "Yeah, no problem, we can get this, get that," and we wouldn't have known that they would things just tight. But they had to hold on and give up that impression that, you know, be good, to keep us up. You know, and for parents, for example, who are in that position, there are things you can't physically say all the time.
True.
Because if you say it, you may cause fear in the people around you and in the loved ones. Write it.
Exactly.
Because you need to get it out. You need to face those things. So write it and deal with it. Like, come face to face with your personal fears. The fears you can't tell anybody else, write them down. And then with writing them down, you also realize that you could then face them and deal with them and overcome them as well. It's easier for you to deal with something when you've made it, when you can actually battle with it. So when I write stuff down, and it's a fear, it's an issue, I normally write, I will defeat you, or I will overcome you. So I challenge myself to then face that fear and purposefully work at competing with it, you know?
Definitely know about that one for sure. I mean, even from personal experience, I mean, I would look at certain things that I'm doing now that 3 or 4 years ago, I would have thought, nah, that is not for me. I was actually scared of you know, trying or going after that particular goal or anything like that, because I had my own, you know, your own fears, basically something that has not happened scaring you. Yeah, I mean, if you rationalize in your mind like that, you realize that, hey, you know, you're letting your own insecurities paralyze you from doing something that not only will benefit you but benefit others around you. And so I mean, I'm not totally fearless, but I'm much less fearful than I was years ago in terms of doing certain things. And I mean, as some person say, if you fail big, but fail forward.
And I'll give you a secret about fear. And this is something that I learned when studying the mindset and how to. One of the biggest tasks I have as a personal trainer is not necessarily changing a person's body, but changing their mind. Because when the mind goes, the body will follow eventually.
Yeah.
So affecting the mind first is really important. But what I learned about fear is this. Fear is a learned behavior. It's not natural. It's not something that we were born with. We're not born with fear.
True.
Right? Kids will do the most amazing things and scare the hell out of adults. Right? Without thinking twice. They will climb up on something, they'll jump from something, they'll grab onto something, and they'll be like, what you doing? And we then teach them fear. Right? As a safety mechanism to safeguard their bodies. However, that fear then transcends into not just safeguarding your body, but being fearful of things and situations and people and thoughts, and it spirals. It goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And we are taught to fear failure as well. We're taught to fear things going wrong. We're taught to fear a lot of different things that we could learn from. We're taught to fear them. Right? Falling used to be a learning mechanism. Falling was, you try to walk, you fall, it strengthens your legs as a child.
Correct.
That's how you learn to walk. That's how you get stronger legs. You have to crawl, you have to do different things that are fearful. Turning over as a child, I can imagine, like, just thinking about it, right? You've never did this before. Or turn over from here to turn on your face. And all of a sudden, that's a big deal. Standing up on your own two legs was a big deal. And as we get older, we begin to see some simple things as being, oh my gosh, like coming on a live and having a conversation. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people who will send that message on our chats while we're having a conversation. But if we were to offer them a chance to come on live and show their face and have the conversation and maybe see comments, they may not do it. There are some people who will definitely not want to be any part of that.
True. Thanks for all your
that's just a fear. It's just a fear that we have for some reason. There's no rational concept behind the fear. Right? It's just the thought of what could happen. What if I look stupid? What if I sound stupid? What if something happened and I look?
Yeah.
It's just a subconscious fear. You know, so fear is not, it's just a safety mechanism that we can overcome. Yeah?
Exactly. And I mean, as you rightfully say, I mean, even right now when we do the conversation, right? As you say, we don't read any scripts at all, and it is not scripted in terms of what we say. You know? But seriously, folks, this is, as I said, this is unscripted, as you rightfully say, and we just, you know, just relax and we just chat and we bring people into the conversation. And I mean, it, as some persons say, we started last year, and it just started off with us connecting, and yeah, we were nervous putting on this thing for the first time, trying to do this live conversation in front of everybody. We didn't know if anybody was going to listen. We didn't know if anybody was going to troll us online or anything like that. We didn't know, but
people having a good time.
We stepped forward and we did it anyway. So, letting go of fear is actually a healthy tip. It is. Right. Should be a category by itself, actually.
Yep.
In terms of how we deal with things.
Somebody commented on one of my next tips, which I saw Mr. Wilson said, watch your sleeping habits.
True.
Right? And funny enough, my next tip was going to be to prioritize sleep. Not just watch your sleeping habits, but prioritize sleep. Right? You and I were just having a conversation today about sleep.
Yes.
Right? First of all, any entrepreneur will know that sleep is a prized possession. When they get it, they take it. Not all the time you'll get as much as you want to, but after a point, you have to prioritize sleep.
True.
Yeah, and for some important reasons. Number one, for your mood, but then more importantly, for your immune system.
Yeah.
Right? Now, we're still looking at these things when it comes to your healthy habits and when it comes to the pandemic. We're tying those two things together. Right? So it's not just a matter of get sleep because you should get 8 hours of sleep, but it's why is sleep so important now during the pandemic. Right? Number one, a lack of sleep. During the sleep process, your body goes through that process of, when you get into deep sleep, your body goes through the process of recuperating, restoring, fighting off bacteria, fighting off viruses, and these kind of things. If you are not getting enough sleep and getting into that deep sleep, your body is not getting to really and truly dedicate time towards fighting any possible viruses. Right? So sometimes by not sleeping enough, we are doing way more harm to our bodies. And we are allowing our bodies to go into a state where our immune system is in hyperdrive. It's fighting throughout the day and not getting a chance to really and truly dedicate time. But when you go to sleep and you get into REM sleep, your body slows down other processes, and it redirects energy towards certain things. Have you ever had a good night's sleep and you wake up you're real hungry?
Yeah.
It's because your body would have burned through some of those calories using towards doing stuff, repairing muscle breakdown, repairing injuries. Your white blood cells go to work. Your white blood cells fighting off a virus. The reason why your body gets hot is because it burns a lot of energy, right? It creates that virus to kill, it creates the heat, to kill the virus off. But all of that expends a lot of energy. And while you sleep, it gets dedicated time to do that.
Okay.
So if you're not getting enough sleep, our immune system could face a lot of harm in the long run. And we know this current virus is affecting our immune system in a big way.
It's interesting that it's interesting that you talk about in terms of how the body uses, getting sleep and using that time in terms of energy to help repair the body and everything like that. That ties in as well in terms of your eating habits as well, in terms of a healthy tip, because if it is that you eating 2 heaps of food and then 5 minutes later going to sleep, your body going to be working on trying to digest that food in your stomach instead of repairing what needs to be repaired in your body all over the place. Sometimes that is why people get up groggy. But yeah, that's a good point. I just thought about that, but I know you will elaborate on that one for sure.
That is amazing, because the only points you made before are tied back into this point. I'll show you how. Like I said, poison habits affect the body in different ways. Number one, your body's digestive system is important to pull in the nutrients and then disperse into the body. If that's not happening properly, because a lot of fatty foods, a lot of greasy foods, a lot of simple carbs clog the digestive system a lot.
Right.
And we can't really absorb nutrients properly, or rely in the digestive system can't absorb nutrients. So then our body's ability to use nutrients is affected. That's number one. Number two, what happens after that is that if you're not sleeping properly, if you're stressed out, right, your body, your mind is not able to fall into deep sleep properly because we're restless. You ever sleep and you don't feel like you get rest?
Yes, I know that feeling.
You toss until the whole night. Your body is never in that time able to fall into deep sleep. So your body is never able to redirect energy towards taking care of your body, towards recovering your body, to replenishing your energy stores and fixing stuff. All your body is doing is being hyperactive, feeding your mind and producing weird thoughts and situations and scenarios that your mind is going so straight on that your body can't take care of itself. So stress and poison habits affects your sleep. True. Once you can sleep good, it puts your stress levels into check. It allows your body to burn through your calories and burn through your food properly. And I'm talking about proper sleep. And I'm talking about just sleeping only and not doing nothing. I'm talking about sleeping the right times.
Yeah, right time and right place. Passing out in front of the TV is not considered a good night's sleep. Click, I need to binge watch this. 3 in the morning, let me try to rewind, and you're not going to really get that's not a good approach, especially if it is that you have work the next morning, as people say. So I mean, these are mindful, these are some good areas that you're looking at, and I mean you started to talk about it, that it's not just about eating, but it's about eating the right things at the right time.
Yeah.
What helpful tips you have for person in terms of what kind of nutrients balance people need to have, during the breakfast time period, the snack, the lunch, the dinner time? What is the best?
Right. So what I'll say, right, in this particular time, it's a couple of things we have to focus on. Number one, anti-inflammatory foods. Right? That also because the nasal passage is clear and these kind of things, because inflammation is one of the biggest causes of pain and other body problems, and as well it inhibits the virus as well. It causes the virus to get a nice place to flourish, right? So anti-inflammatory foods and foods that fight stress, right? You're not going to think I'm really pushing on to that food and the stress levels, is because this is one of the key issues right now in the health industry. a lot of people are very, very stressed out, and it's affecting a lot of different things in a domino effect. So I'm going to give you guys a couple food types and food examples that you can use as stress fighting foods, right? So foods that actually lower stress and stuff like that. We have warm food. So you're talking about teas, you're talking about soups, right? It's really easy to put away, to leave out on the coffee a little bit, leave out on the chocolate tea and different things like that, and have some green teas, some hot green teas. Lessen the intake of cold beverages, intake some more hot fluids. Other than digestive health, it also helps with the nasal passage and these different things, and it also helps to decrease your stress levels. You get so much calm after having a cup of tea, right? Lavender, you have chamomile, you have peppermint, you have these different things you could use before bed to help with the sleep process as well, right? You look at your omega-3s, some from fish, even the actual tablets, you can do that as well. Those help with the stress levels, right? And inflammation as well, right? Avocados, fruits, vegetables, your leafy greens, bananas, all these things help with inflammation. They help with stress, and they help to relax the body as well. And they are better sources of carbs, proteins than, let's say, fried chicken, bara, fried beef, right? Even if you're looking for a nice snack, some dark chocolate, some yogurt. I'll give you an example of what I have as a snack sometimes, right? You get some yogurt, and it could be the Yoplait yogurt, these sweetened ones, yes, no problem. You put in some nuts in there. You have a little more protein in there as well. It's a really nice snack, right? Having the oats in the morning, putting some granola, some chia seeds, adding in some slices of banana in there as well. It gives you energy. It's a lot less sugar than having some of the other things you have for breakfast. It's a healthier carb source. It gives you energy throughout the day, so you won't be sleeping in your morning meetings, right? And it's easier for your body to digest as well, right? Rather than having some of these simple carbs, right? A lot of people think as well that eating healthy is expensive, right? Based on your goal, it doesn't have to be expensive. It really doesn't have to be expensive. I will give you one tip when it comes to going to the supermarket, how to make sure that you buy the correct portions of foods, right? What we normally do is we start off in the market section, right? Okay. If you have to buy any fresh produce, start there first. Reason being, that's where you should put your priority, your fresh produce. A lot of people start off in the carb section. I'm talking about getting flour, rice, pasta, right? You buy those things first. Spend the majority of your grocery spend on market produce. If you have to order one of those food providers, the Promise Basket, for example, is a good one. We have access to that as well. Those kind of packages offer healthy whole foods, pumpkin, squash, spinach, cabbage, potato, sweet potato. These foods should take up the biggest bulk of your budget for food. After that, then we go to the other sources of carbs and proteins. We normally go whole foods, then proteins, meaning beans, meats, and these things. And then last, we go to things like pasta and rice, right? When you do it like that, you'll be surprised by the fact that you keep your costs down, but you also limit the bad things you can put in your basket. You understand?
It have a reason why I'm smiling is that if you look how our grocery is designed, the first things you see are the snacks and the rice and the flour and all these things like that, and the produce are to the back.
Yep.
All right, the market stuff, the veggies, the fruits, all this stuff, all the way to the back. So basically, the tip that you're giving for person, if you really think about it, it could work, you know. You start from the back and then come down to the front, so you could go by the cashier.
Yep. When you're moving that way, you save money, honestly.
Yeah.
Now, some groceries, this is what I like though, some groceries have noticed the health trend, and they have begun to change the structure of how they lay out their groceries. So, for example, if you walk into a Massey, first thing you're met with are the fresh produce.
Right.
Right? Because they want to force you. Not force you, but they realize that people are a little more health conscious, or should be. So they want to appeal to that, which is awesome.
No, by the way,
started doing that as well.
Disclaimer: we are not sponsored by any of these grocery stores. I just want to make that out that one time. We just observers.
But most groceries put your snacks, your ice cream, your juices, your soft drinks, the frozen produce close, because those are the quick things you can grab. Right? And then they put the healthy stuff.
Go and work for it.
Yeah, right. So organize the structure of your purchases, and you'll realize if you spend less on some of the bad stuff, you'll have more money to spend on the good stuff.
True. No, but that's some good points there. And I know we spoke a lot with respect to the area of the mental health in terms of healthy tips. We spoke about things in terms of how we eat and everything like that as well too. What about physical? What do you have in terms of physical tips that we need to maybe look at right now, and I know people need to pay attention to?
So the best advice I could give anybody right now is to go on to FitX Studio.
That is the opening. That's the opening I was looking for. And yes, we bias with that, and I have no problem with that.
Plug, and I'm no way sad about saying it or ashamed about saying it.
Hashtag sorry not sorry.
Right? I'll give you an example as to what I'll tell you why I'm saying that. What we've done with FitX Studio, right? Again, that's fitxstudio.fit. What we've done is we've put together a package where people can actually work out in the morning or in the evening. They have access to all those workouts, right? Monday to Friday, morning and evening, you can attend all the workouts within the week. There are different styles of workouts. We have what we call X-Flow, which is similar to yoga, but it's more geared towards flexibility and mobility. Because most people are seated for a long period of time and their body is held in a posture that is very bad for their body. Then we have HEAT, which is a cardio session. You need to get your heart rate up during the day so that blood can pump, circulation can happen. Right? Now, even though I'm talking about our program, I'm telling you as well what you need your body to actually do during the day. We need flexibility and mobility.
Right.
We need to get our heart rate up for a couple of reasons. Number one, because of this virus that affects the cardiovascular system. So we need to get the heart rate up. The blood could be pushed through the system, and then your lung capacity can increase. Right? Number two, we're looking at strengthening the body. Strengthening the muscles, toning the body as well. We have a strong X program for that as well on the FitX platform. Right? And for those ladies who are looking to keep the body looking snatched and looking summer ready, we have a glute pump workout as well. Right? Now that's not just for ladies alone, it's for the guys as well. Trust me, I do the workouts as well. I take part in those workouts and they are amazing. They help with lower body issues, lower back pain. They help with lower body, hip issues and stuff as well. They strengthen the glutes and stuff.
Good.
And we've chosen those particular workouts because we've noticed what the people who come to us with issues are coming with. Lower back pain, sciatica problems, circulation issues, mid-back pain, upper back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain.
Yes.
Right? Shortness of breath. Wearing a mask for a long period of time is actually causing our lung capacity to decrease.
True.
We're taking shallower breaths. The best time really shallow when you have a mask. You go.
That is so
and then
true.
you're recycling a lot of carbon dioxide as well. So a cardiovascular program is also very important to keep your lung capacity up. Right? So, like I said, if I have to give you tips as to what types of workouts to focus on, mobility and flexibility, FlowX, right? Cardiovascular workouts, HEAT, right? Toning and strengthening of the body, which is our strong workout. And we must take care of the vanity muscles as well. Right? Reason being, it makes you feel good, it makes you want to look at yourself, and it raises that feel good hormone in your body as well.
Yeah.
You know, for men, so we know it. For men, we like to look at the glutes on the female, but females like to look at the glutes in guys too.
Touché.
For men, we like to look at the shoulder, we like to see our shoulders popping, we like to see the chest looking nice and full, the abs. But It's all about you personally feeling good to your body.
That's right. I made sure I drop the link in the chat right there, so persons check out that link now. fitxstudio.fit. It is in the chat. After the program, not now, after the program, click register. I mean, you have nothing to lose. Just give a little bit into it, like as a free trial. How does it work? How does it work for persons getting on?
Okay, so what we have offering right now, so this is constantly offered. For anybody coming to us new, you have the ability to take a 7-day free trial, right? That gives you access to 7 days of workouts. There are live workouts and pre-recorded workouts, so you can get a taste as to what we offer, what we do, how it feels. You can get that energy boost and stuff. You can get that feeling. We also give you meal guides, different things like that too. So you get that 7-day access, and then after that, you can sign on to our FitX platform with a paid subscription. Our plans are very reasonable. It's $29.99 US or 205 TT. The good thing is, once you've done the 7-day trial, you actually get access to some discounts and some promos from us. If you refer friends and family, you get discounts as well. Now, we've done it in this way because we want people to stay healthy during the pandemic. We want you to access as much healthy avenues as possible, so you made it very reasonable and give new ways in which you can get it cheaper and even get it free. Yes, I said you can get 3 months as well.
Look, I will put it out there for those who connected on. Share, if you don't want to do it, share it with somebody who, just share, because honestly, if you look at it, gym membership is minimum $300, you understand? And what you're getting right now, you're getting a referral plan with respect to what you're doing here. You have opportunity. Which gym membership that you go on to, they'll say, yeah, nah, take a free month now. Let me just check. I am just checking. My results are saying 0. No other gym does that, and this one you actually do it from the comfort of your home. All right, and my gym is that little purple area that you're seeing right here. That's my gym right there. All right, I don't need a whole big area. I can do everything from there. So I strongly recommend for those who online checking out this right now, fitxstudio.fit. The link is right in the chat. Go ahead, subscribe, get yourself at least on the trial. If you say, I ain't want to spend my money, let me see how it is. Good, you have 7 days to see how it is. You'll get your tips via email, whatever the case may be. Listen, and if you know us, if you're a person who connect with Mantle, I mean, you know we're not going to give all anything wrong here. We open it up for you all. So look, I mean, thanks for bringing that up, because I think it's especially useful now more than ever for persons to look at the physical health and doing one step at a time to really get to that place. I mean, it's just one step, and then take another and another and another. We need to start somewhere. All right. I know we're close to the 9 o'clock, but what are the final tips or anything that to give to persons who are online right now?
If I have to give, I'm going to give you some quick fire tips, right? Just list of some things you can do during the pandemic to maintain a healthy lifestyle, right? It's going to sound, some of them going to sound a little weird because they're going to be in a wide array of different areas, right? I'm just going to list them out there. So if you're listening, what you can do is come back to this section after and listen to them again, so you can make a list of all those things that you can try. Right? We're in the pandemic, so we're going to be in this situation for a bit. Right, so you have a chance to try out a lot of these tips. So you went through sleep, you went through managing your stress, you went through eating, right? I'm going to also tell you guys, practice meditation. It doesn't have to be chanting, nothing like that. I'm speaking about self-reflection. Put on some music, relax, close your eyes, give yourself over to your thoughts a little bit, just to kind of to clear your mind, see where you're at, that kind of thing. Number 2, enjoy some music, right? I have a morning playlist. I have an evening playlist, I have a driving playlist. These things are really actually geared towards keeping my mind in where I want it to be. Right? Read, grab a book. We have a lot of time on our hands right now. Grab a book.
Yep.
Right? I know people may be thinking when it comes to health, it's only about working out, but you can't outwork your mind. You can try to beat your mind into a good place how much you want. If you don't take care of here as well, it's going to counteract a lot of the things you're going to be doing. So read a book, right? Another mental health tip is mindful listening, meaning be involved in the conversations you're keeping right now.
Yeah.
Right? Number one, we don't know how long those around us are here for. It's that kind of time we're in. So listen mindfully, pay attention to people, give valuable, in depth, you know. Be conscious of the conversations we have. Give value, receive value, and don't just let people talk and your mind somewhere else. Be present. We don't want to ever say, I should have paid attention to this person, I should have spoken to them more, I should have XYZ. Be present in the conversation. Stretch, right? In two ways. Stretch the body, as in stay mobile, stay moving. If you're in a meeting in work, if your camera can be off, even if your camera on, get up and stretch. Let them know it's my stretch minute. I'm gonna get up and do some movements for a minute, and I'm gonna be back in my seat. Nobody gonna hate you for that. Nobody gonna fire you for that. You're gonna be better able to do your job.
Correct.
Second part of that stretching is stretch your mind. Allow yourself to see yourself in even a better place than you are now. Next thing is incorporate the family into all your activity when it comes to your health. If you're gonna exercise, grab the kids in. I have clients right now in our live because their kids are taking part. I'm not charging for your children to join in the video, that's fine, right? Get the family involved, because the more people are actively looking after their health, the more we can keep the families together and keep people from getting sent to core around these different places. So stay active as a unit. If it's you and your sister living far, call them, do something in the morning. Stay active. And my last tip I'm going to give you guys is water. Water. H2O. Right?
Nice.
During this pandemic, one of the things I've noticed from looking at different medical journals and different people that would have spoken about their experience during COVID, doctors, nurses, and patients, they spoke about dehydration, right? The high fevers, these different things, and the body goes through when it's impacted by the virus. Number one, when it comes to your sinus area or your nose, the virus actually stays behind the nasal passage for a period of time before it begins to affect the entire body. So it stays there and it develops there and grows there and flourishes there. Number one, if we are hydrated, we keep these areas flowing properly so that it can actually flush the nasal passage better.
Okay.
Right? By doing that, we don't give it as much of a breathing ground as it would have gotten. Number two, being hydrated helps to keep your lungs hydrated as well and keep those areas moist so that it doesn't get to that drive cough stage, it doesn't become laborious to breathe and these kind of things. Water is so important. I can't stress enough how important water is, right? I currently have a lot of my guys on a 1 gallon challenge, right? Meaning drinking a 1 gallon of water for the day.
Yeah.
Right? That's gonna get you so much different health results you have no idea. Weight loss, clearer skin, less headaches, better sleep, better digestion, better hair, better nails. It's amazing what drinking enough water can do. Right? Like we said last time, you will be licking your lips like LL Cool J. Right? Right? Even your eyes. There's so much different things that can happen when your body is hydrated. So drink plenty of water. I want to challenge everybody here. Try it. Aim for the 1 gallon. If you want to start with a liter and work your way up, do that. But let it go be in the next month to be able to consume 1 gallon of water for the day. Try it for 21 days. You can message us after and tell us how you feel. Trust me, you're going to be blown away by how your body responds.
Nice.
So, quick fire tips, done.
Nice. Thank you very much for that, Mike. I mean, everything that we talk about. Yeah, I have mine here. I'll be drinking on this after the show here. Guys, I hope you all have been listening to the conversation tonight. We have brought a lot of information when we talk about healthy tips. I know a lot of people was thinking healthy tips was just talk about exercise. Not alone. We went into the area of what it is to eat it. We talk about triggers of stress, habits, all of that we talk about within the conversation itself tonight. So for those who are listening, you can go ahead and share this link with people right here on Facebook. You can go ahead and share it with them. For those who listen on YouTube as well, go ahead, hit that like, subscribe if you really like the video, turn on the notifications if you really want to get updated. As soon as we let out a release a video, you are getting it firsthand. So go ahead and make sure you turn on that notification bell. Again, for those on Facebook, put this program on your timeline. Go ahead and put it in your groups. We want people to be listening as much as possible in terms of this information here. Now, in the time that we are living in, we need to have these healthy conversations so we can start talking about these things, and not just talking. Start acting on the items that that are being discussed here. One step at a time. One small step you can do. I mean, the simple thing of drinking a little more water than it is normally drink, that's one step. One simple step. I believe you can do that. Alright, so guys, thank you all very much for connecting. Co-host Micaiah, thanks for being here and thanks for bringing us here in terms of the space. And guys, don't forget fitxstudio.fit. It is right in the comments. Click sign up. I mean, it's a 7-day free trial. You have nothing to lose, absolutely nothing to lose but the wait, so guys, thank you all for connecting and being part of the conversation. So guys, take care and be safe.
One quick thing. Happy anniversary to all the Mantle family. We did this together.
1 year. And I'll say it again. Happy anniversary. And again, thank you all very much. Putting it all is really not just us, is all the persons who have been tuning in with us for the past year. There's some persons who have been with us from day one. Frank Wilson, Esla Wilson, June Smith, Simon. These are people who have been there from day one, connecting on, and then who jumped on board after. Boss Lady Thomas, Yolanda Dates, Joan Barbosa, a number of persons who have been coming on. They are now seeing Marina Smith Valdez have connected on as well. Thank you so much, Michelle, for connecting on. So guys, listen, the conversation is about all of us being here and we sharing with each other. So thank you all so much for this 1 year, and we're going to go on as long as we could go on for. But always remember, even right now in this pandemic time, don't forget to keep your hands washed, keep clean, continue to practice the social distancing, sanitize, all of these things. Continue to keep safe, and guys, take care.